Steve Skinner here again. The Poor Man's Walleye video channel. I'm a school teacher. I have to find ways to make things work, but I have caught and have had a lot of success catching a lot of walleye, just making my own stuff. I go to seminars. I go listen to walleye pros and guys who make this stuff. I study this. I take notes, and I try to make the best I can with the finances that I have. So just like with a lot of channels you watch on TV, they want you to buy these multi-thousand-dollar units, and if you spend all this money, you'll have this success. Well, here's the truth. Yeah, there are some things that you get what you pay for, but there's other things that you can kind of keep, to make things cheaper and maybe even keep your wife happy, so you're not spending all this money. But it's also kind of fun to build your own lures. Not only that is it's fun to build your own lures, it's also fun to catch the fish with your own lures. So I wanted to go over some of how I build my Goober Y Knots. Again, I sell them for $3 a piece. You can contact me via this YouTube channel. Send me your address and so on. Just communicate how you want to pay and how you want to take care of it. $3, but also you can make your own through this video. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll be producing more and more videos on how to do things. But today I'm going to go start with my number one go-to lure, and that is what I call the Purple Ace. And I just want to show you my setup here. I'm doing this with my camera phone. I basically have all of my stuff here. I hope you can see it. I put it all in a tray, and I've got everything kind of set up with my colors and everything. And I got everything laid out so that I can build them. I got beads. I've got floats and so on. So I got to put on my trusty glasses because in a couple of days I actually turn 50, and actually when you turn 40 you tend to need to use these. So let me just start with what I do. I usually start with a number 2. I know some guys like to use larger hooks. And some guys use 2 small hooks. I found that the number 2 hooks in red, and I hope you can see this okay, in red is the best color. It's the octopus style. And I actually use a fly tying mechanism here. And I'll pinch that in there, and I'll try to make sure that is, and I'll just get a better view here. I try to make sure that is flat, or at least level, as much as possible. And I want to make sure I get that in there nice and tight, because what's going to happen is you're going to pull on it. As you're stringing this, you're going to pull on it. So let's do what we do. Or let's start from there. I like to use number 10. Now some guys use number 20. This is just a cheap version. This is just varnish Berkeley. Most guys will use your 20. I like to use 10. Now, the difference is it does break a little bit. The fish, especially if you get into a big pike, the fish, they'll bite it off. However, one of the best things, and I think this really makes a difference in your presentation, is that it's smaller in the line diameter. This is fluorocarbon, but it's even more invisible underwater. And I think the presentation, in my mind, the presentation is more important than the durability. And if I can get a walleye to bite, I'm pretty much, that's in my mind, 80% of the battle is getting the walleye to bite. From that point on, it's up to you to finish it. So I usually I'll take 1 full length. I like long leaders. It gets it away from the weight, and it does make a difference in your presentation. And so what I'll do is I'll just take my clippers. I'll just clip it off here. And I'll start my first hook, and I'll string it right through, and I always go through the front first because again, you got to think about presentation. I hold this in, and I'll wrap about 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I'll pull that tight. You got to keep the tension on tight, and then you take the other end. Get a little dust on there. You take the other end, and you just string it. I hope you can see this. You string it back through the back. So you go through the back, and you just keep the tension on there, and just pull it tight. Now, a lot of guys like to clip this off. It's okay if you don't. In my mind, the walleye, it kind of tickles the mouth, but that's all right. I usually leave a little bit there and I pull tight. You clip it too close and you're actually going to pull it through. You won't be able to put any tension on it. But so that's the first one. Now, when I get ready to do my second one, I'll move the camera here a little bit. When I get ready to do the second one, and this works out perfect because it's perfectly, I'll just hook this hook there. And that way it'll hold it in place. So I got that hook there, and so I grab my second hook. Okay, and then I, again, put that through there. Now, the thing about this one's a little bit unique. So I got a 2-hook system here, and I'll take the line from the first hook that I hooked up, and I'll go, this one I'll go start through the back. Now, the biggest thing, the reason why you go through the back is because you want to make sure that is in a straight line. All right, so I'm just going to find that through. Now, if you notice, you want to have a straight line there. You don't want to go through the front. Now, the nice thing is this is already ready. So again, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is just your basic slip knot. This is the best way. Now, I remember when I first started tying these, I would just use a regular fish knot or a fisherman's knot, and guys would laugh at me. And I realized later that the hooks would actually run crooked if you tried to just use a fisherman's knot. Where with a slip knot, the hooks will run straight. Again, okay, so as you're putting this on, you want to keep the tension and you want to pull tight. And the nice thing is that stays on there just through tension. Okay, now you got your hook set. That's easy, right? So what I like to do is I'll use some pliers because my fingers are so big. It's hard for me to grab some of these beads. So I'll just start grabbing purple. This is my purple bead. I find the hole, and it's just like at Christmas time when you're stringing popcorn down the string with the Christmas tree. You just glue it. I start with 4. This is number 2. Sometimes my aim's not so good. 2. So you just string it down the hole. 3. No rocket science here. Even I can do it. 4. And then now you can do. I've done 2 ways. I've done 2 of these gold beads, or I'll do 1 float. Now, the nice thing about the float is that it'll actually lift it as, when it's running behind a sinker, it'll actually lift it above the weeds. So depending on what you want to use, whether you use it on the ground, if you got a lot of weeds, sometimes a float. So I will take, again, we got the 4 beads. We got the 4 beads here. And then I'm going to put the float on top of it. Okay, so now there we go. We got the 4 beads in the float. Okay. Then I put the clevis that holds the. Now I like to use the interchangeable ones. Now there are some good and bad things about this. The good part of it is that you can interchange these. The bad part of it is they don't work well if you're going a mile an hour or less. You generally don't get the spin you would with the metal cleaves. But I've had success even at slow speeds. But these are basically for a mile or higher. Okay, so I string these up. You got to make sure you do these right. I string these up and I string it through there. Okay, and then this is what I do different than what you see. All the ones that I buy at the store, and I think this makes a difference because I want you to think about the eye of whatever bait that they're eating. They have an eye or a head. I like to put a gold bead above, gold, silver, blue, whatever your fancy is. I like to put one above that. So now you've got your body, all right? So I actually love to put a gold bead or any colored bead above the head. I really think that makes a difference. You don't see that in a lot of the store-boughts. And I've had a lot more success with my lures than the ones I buy at the store. I think there's a reason for that. I think most companies just like to make money. They'll just sell you whatever. This one here, the reason why I use this is because it works. And this is special to me. And it's worked in every single lake that I fish walleye for. Okay. Now, the part here is you want to just basically loop it at the top. Okay. And you want to take a knot, make a knot out of it. And you really want to make 2 knots. And I'll show you why. If you just do a single loop, the problem is the knot is too small and the beads will actually slide up. The beads can actually slide off. So I actually make 2 knots to make the 1 knot. To make the 1 knot bigger so the beads can't slide off. So there you go. You have 2 knots, and then you hook that on the line. I have 2 knots there. Okay, you hook that on the line. And now you're ready to go. Try to clean that up a little bit. There we go. And you just clean that up. It just looks a little bit nicer. Now this one you do want to trim the end because it just gets in the way when you're trying to store it. So I just trim off that end, and you get a nice clean loop. Now, the reason why you have the loop is because you actually connect this with your snap swivel. And I always recommend ball bearing, but I'll talk about that one later in a different video. So then you just take, so I'll either use a silver. I'll actually use a silver, a gold, or even a bronze color sometimes. I've had moderate success with these. I think these work. The nice thing is you can change them out. The fish will tell you what they want. So my go-to though with this one, I like to start with anything with gold. I'll start with gold and then let the fish tell me if I need to change them. So these are real easy. You just take the hole and you just slip over. You find the clevis. And you just slip it over, and now you gotta. The biggest thing though on these plastic clevises when you put them on, they tend to stay open, and sometimes you gotta push them back. But basically, there's your crawler harness. And again, I like long ones, and boy does this thing spin. This thing catches fish. Please make sure you click on subscribe. Again, my name is Dave. If you'd like me to make you some, I have a variety of patterns. I would love to make some and send them to you and help you have success in the water. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, please click subscribe. Help me make this go, because I want to make this for guys on low budgets, on minimal budgets. They don't have a lot of time or money to spend on fishing, just like me. I'm a teacher, and I don't have all the money to buy all the expensive equipment. So I find ways to do this as cheap as possible. Click subscribe, so not only can I help you, I can help many others. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the water.